what happens when two mates sit in a cinema shed and talk about nonsense? Well, you get GROT TV. Welcome back to GROT TV. Two of us today, not just myself, but we've also got Mr. David Kennedy. Hello, David.
Hello, also known as Pearl from Blade. Hey, look at the size of me! I always look that good when I'm just filmed from this angle.
So, the last video, people have heard me banging on about doing stuff side by side, rather than just trying to do it remote like me and you have tried previously.
Right.
And
the problem is that you do it in rooms, and there's always people in rooms getting in the bloody way. So what you do is you build yourself a cinema in your back garden, right? And you cocoon yourself in here now. I thought it was 2 o'clock. I thought I'd come round, see Tony for a little minute. 2 o'clock. It's pigging 5 o'clock, and we've done nothing except sit and look at the screens.
Yeah. Settings on projectors.
The life.
Yeah, listen to Conan the Barbarian theme score. But I thought it'd be nice, sit back on a Sunday, have a bit of a chat in here.
Well, we're at the beginning of you starting something off that you're keen on, you're passionate about, and we just figured we'd have a chat about it. No particular aim, you know. We'll get hungry at some point and stop.
Yeah.
But just for now, we figured we'll sit and have a chat about the stuff we like.
Yeah. It. I think for me, doing this kind of stuff was having the ability, especially with the fanzine, of being able to talk about stuff that maybe a lot of people either don't know about or have forgotten about, or and bringing people on board always makes it miles better. Then it's not
you're
just
getting the memories about it as well, aren't you?
And you're getting other people's views about things, and I may not even be into. You know what I mean? And I would probably never have talked about. Or
well, to be honest, you saying like I'm going to do this fanzine called GROT, right? I know exactly what you're doing, what you're aiming at.
Yeah.
But it feels the same as when I first started hanging out with people who were obsessed with computer games.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how much I knew of it until I sat down and they were talking about the most obscure stuff, and I'm going, I did play that.
Yeah.
And it might not have been my main focus in life. Maybe it wasn't Optimus Prime, but I did play it and I did see that stuff. And the same with like your general sort of like fanzine sort of areas of like our youth, you know. I knew Cannibal Holocaust was in the video shop, but maybe I didn't get around to watching them until I was done with Daryl and Neverending Story.
Yeah, saying it.
But hearing other people talk about obscure films and TV and whatever, even books and that, from when you were younger, I find it helps spark off like, well, I did read that and I did see that.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten I had.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten I knew more about it than I actually thought I did. And well, like I say, when you mentioned GROT, I always thought, well, that's your corner. That's all like peeling skulls and all that stuff. You know, that's your corner, which is fine. But I'm surprised that like people have mentioned a few things in the group that Tony started, and getting a few artists and like creators together to make stuff and write stuff about their experience about anything to do with like grotty cinema or grotty video or whatever it is. And it's a nice word for it because it does conjure up like stuff from the past that I didn't know I knew.
Yeah,
you know.
it conjures up for me the word grot more about Bergin bin videos or stuff that came straight to video that got put up on a shelf that no one paid any interest in, and it was £1 for rent, but I always got them because there was £1.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
Here's the thing then. Here's something, right? Because what I've been interested in with this, when Tony put that thing out saying let's make something together, you know, all these people who are into similar things, you know, friends through like online interests and stuff. What I like is nobody's actually at any point said this is what we want to write about. Everyone's gone, ooh, I'll tell you what I'll do. And me personally, I thought, I'll write about the legend of Boggy Creek, which I didn't see on video at first. I saw it on BBC Two at 6 o'clock one night, and other people have had other ideas where they said, "Oh, I'm going to write about video stores themselves." So all we're going off is you coming up with the word, like. What about grot? Oh, grot sounds nice. Right, but nobody's writing about the same thing. Nobody's thinking of the same thing. So here's the question. Like, where did it come from for you?
So, for me, there's always been a thing of... And again, if like I said, I've said in previous videos, if people have ever followed me on social media, if people have watched other YouTube stuff I've done where I've been a guest or I've been asked to choose 5 films on somebody else's channel and everybody else is pulling out Citizen Kane and you know what I mean? And then I rock up with Hawk the Slayer and Battle Beyond the Stars.
Yes.
And everyone just laughs. Well, I always find it amusing that people find that funny, but for me, those are the films I've always gravitated to. Yeah. And through anybody else's eyes, other than sort of myself or the people who I know that like this kind of stuff, people think these films are shit. They think they're terrible. So the whole thing, the whole premise of it's a bit of a grotty film, that, innit?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean the fact that
it doesn't have to have peeling skulls.
No, it's not horror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not horror sort of specific.
Yeah.
It just means it could be the bottom of the bin kind of stuff. It's a bit grotty, this, isn't it? You know what I mean? Now, being a northerner and using the word grotty just means it's a bit shit.
Yeah. Dirty.
Yeah. And it probably sums up the kind of stuff that I'm into. The word sums the stuff up better than anything else.
Yeah, well, I've been to a car boot with you and Rob, and I've said, have you seen over here? They've got like a Return of the Jedi in 4K or something like that, and someone will go, well, they've also got Pond Drinker or some bits, and the two of you will go, ooh,
I found this ex-rental copy of the Nostril Picker. You know what I mean?
The Nostril Picker. See, so when you first said grot, I growing up with like video stores all around and everything like that, one of the ones that I always really liked was when I was at uni in Salford. There was a local shop on the corner, and they sell Viborg lager and all these cheap sweets and crisps, beef puffs, the finest of crisps. But they also had like just a rack of videos, and I loved the fact that when I went in, they'd go, "Dave's in. What have you watched this week, Dave?" I said, "Oh, I had this off you last week." And they'd say, "We watched this. We think you'll like this." And what I was guaranteed was whatever they'd chosen was terrible.
Yeah.
But they'd insist, give it a go. So I'd do that and I'd take something myself that I'd chosen. And their selection was, for somebody who was a family shop selling to families, why would they have the Nostril Picker?
Yeah.
But they did have the Nostril Picker. They said, "Oh, you might like that one. Get that one with, one with flamethrower fella who's battering everyone. Exterminate. Get that and exterminate. You'll have a great night, Dave." So I'd get that stuff, and I classed my sort of reintroduction to grot because I knew all the films they had in that store. But it wasn't like just like science fiction for kids and stuff like that. There was grotty stuff in there.
Yeah.
And coming to that definition of grot, again, I think in my head I thought, oh, it's the dirty stuff. You know, it's like, oh, it's a bit grimy. This maybe I wouldn't show kids this, but after thinking about what I wanted to write about, I think it's more about finding a film that you feel you've found yourself.
Yeah.
You've not heard anything about it. You've stumbled across something, or it's been put on TV, or one of your mates has given it you, or something like that, and you feel connected to it because you haven't followed the marketing for Justice League for 6 months.
Yeah.
Or you haven't sort of been told you're going to like this. And what I've noticed in all the things that people are sharing in the Dropbox, where they're writing something, they're writing about something that fires them up because they found it.
Yeah.
And it's their thing that they found, or they've got an opinion on something, or whatever it is. And I went for Legend of Boggy Creek because everyone dismisses it as rubbish. It is rubbish. It is a very, very terrible film. But it hit me at just the right time for me to discover what a found footage film was.
Yeah.
And I write a bit about that in the article I've done for this little zine. But it's probably the essence of grot for me, because it's like that film was not advertised when I was a kid. No, if it was, it wasn't anywhere near my
Yeah.
scope or anything like that. It was all Tron and Daryl and whatever else. All that stuff had posters galore.
Yeah,
and
everywhere.
Blue Peter talking about it and everything. Nobody I knew on earth was talking about The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah.
But it turned up on BBC Two and I watched it and I felt like I found it. I felt like it was special to me because
Yeah.
I'd come across it and I'd found it. And I think that's evident in all of these films we describe, especially in some of the stuff you like and what Rob likes, our friend Rob. You're passionate about these things because you feel like they're yours. You know, you can recommend them to other people and they may hate them.
Oh, yeah.
I've recommended a few things to people and they've gone, don't ever tell me to watch the film again.
Yeah.
But it's special to you because you found it and it's yours and you feel like you've got that connection to it, you know. And the Grot, being a good description of the type of films we like, is a weird description to give to something that you feel connected to and you feel passionate about.
Yeah, because a bad film or a rubbish film doesn't mean that it can't be entertaining. Some of the like biggest dross I've ever watched, I've had the most fun with. And for me, that sums up the whole sort of Grot ethos.
Yeah.
Is that there is so much pleasure that can be taken out of bad film. Now, yeah, your average Joe can sit down and watch it and say it's bad and not have enjoyed it. But the likes of us can sit down, know something is bad, but still enjoy it because of what it is. Get the pleasure out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's been my thing with film all my life. I've never really gravitated to stuff that was either big budget or blockbuster. Don't get me wrong, there's like Ghostbusters is there, you know what I mean, on that poster. Stuff like that, yes, I'm always going to go to it. But then I was always chasing the stuff off the back of something else.
But that even Ghostbusters speaks to the sensibility of someone looking for something outside of the normal.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
You know, it's not... it became a standard because everyone who made Ghostbusters wanted to make another one and then they made more and more and more. But they've all used the original thing as the inspiration. Now, we had this conversation recently about... I saw someone online who talked about current cinema and the state of current cinema. Again, there's great films out there at the moment, but the general thing of Hollywood at the moment is, everyone knows what Star Wars is, so we'll make another Star Wars. And the idea behind all this stuff and what got it famous in the first place, Ghostbusters, Star Wars, and Back to the Future, all that kind of stuff, was that they were influenced by stuff outside of their own genre, brought all that stuff together and made something new within the genre they decided to do it. Star Wars was influenced by samurai films, westerns and all that kind of stuff, but he made something in the sci-fi genre. Now, time has gone on so much that if you make a Star Wars film now, the main thing you're going to be influenced by is Star Wars. Yeah. So you're missing out on, well, what if we brought a bit of like war films into it, or what if we brought some horror into it or something like that. Now, some studios are trying that at the moment, but they're still sort of like hanging on to the fact that, well, we know Alien makes money. Yeah. Do not get me started on Alien Earth. Oh my God. But the point being, they know that Alien makes money, so they're going to make something else with the alien in it. Yeah. Why not take all that stuff that they wanted to put into that new series and just make a new thing? Yeah. And I think the notion of what you've tried to set up with this channel and with everything else, Grot, is people have been doing that for decades. The new, the little thing that came out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, all right, okay, I'll give that a blast because that sounds like a cool new idea that is not based on 500 other things that have gone before it. Yeah, and I think it's a thing of, if you look within pop culture and if you look at films that have become cult classics over the years, the majority of them were probably never big films. They were all under the radar, possibly straight to VHS, might have had small screenings somewhere in a cinema. But predominantly, I would say at least 50% of the stuff I like would have never seen the light of day on a cinema. No. They ended up on a video shelf that people would never have seen. Yeah. But I was so interested as a kid in the other stuff Yeah.
that I just picked them up, and they were cheap. They're always cheap.
Also,
so I just found loads and loads of stuff.
Yeah.
That just stuck with me over the years.
The thing is, as well, we're from an era where somebody would have a great idea for a film, but it might not have even been made very well.
Yeah.
Now, of course, now you can make something exactly how it looks in your head.
Yeah.
And, computer graphics helps you with that kind of thing. But part of the fun of, like, finding stuff within video shops or being put out on, like, the Monster season on BBC Two at 6 o'clock in an evening when everyone's finished their tea and you've got the dining room to yourself and you can sit there and watch This Island Earth or whatever. Part of the fun of finding things in the genre, in the era in which we grew up was a lot of stuff wouldn't be perfect.
Yeah.
And there's brilliance in that imperfection. I rewatched the Back to the Future trilogy again recently, and you look at how clever they had to be with certain effects.
Yeah,
just the simple thing of, like, somebody's got to talk to someone, so he's got to pass a screwdriver behind a lamppost.
Yeah,
it's kind of daft. It's kind of jokey now, but at the time we were like, how did they do that?
Yeah,
how did they have that car take off from the road and then go up behind this head and go out into and you think so much thought gone into that. There was a joy in seeing that somebody had worked around it. Anyway, I was getting to my point, which I think I had, which was a lot of stuff from the era we grew up in was thrown out with just the idea of it to sustain it. And, like, you get things like when you say cult films, classic cult films like Repo Man, for example. I wouldn't say loads of it was filmed perfectly, but he got his idea out.
Oh, yeah.
He got out a weird idea, a one-off. I don't think anyone's come along and said we need Repo Man 2 and 3.
Nope.
But he got this film out and he made it, and it a few people saw it and they might have said, like, I liked 80% of it, but, like, 20% was a bit long or whatever. That sort of is an indicator of the audience has changed. For example, back in those days, we would go and see something that was a brilliant idea. Firefox, there's a good example.
Yes.
Firefox, right? As a youth, I just wanted to watch the last 10 minutes.
Yep.
Fussed about all the walking around and everything. But the older you get, the audience changes, and you appreciate all that subtle spy stuff that's going on in the beginning of the film. But the audience now has a different expectation of what's going to come along. Like, for example, they'll pick apart superhero films if they're not as either A, realistic as the Nolan Batman, or B, have a bigger picture outside of it as the Marvel ones do.
Yeah.
I don't think the audience was concerning itself with all this stuff when we were young. They weren't.
Not at all.
It was like, well, we want to make this film. What is it? What's about these little criminals that have escaped? What are they? Or they're like basketballs with fur with teeth called critters, and then you want to send some bounty hunters after them.
Yeah,
it's daft. You wouldn't think, I don't need 5 more critters films and a multiverse set around it.
Yeah,
you just want to get the idea out, right? And maybe if it sells on video, we'll put another one out. Even with First Blood and Rambo, it was the same. But the audience was different. The audience didn't want to pick things apart when we were younger.
No, they just wanted to be entertained. Yeah, I think that's the difference.
And because of that, that's why all that new stuff got made.
Yeah.
You didn't get, like, feedback saying Sonic's head doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And then cancelling films based on people moaning about it online. Yeah. You didn't get that. You just got to make the stuff,
Yeah, and I think as well, I mean, I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head before about...
Did I? Because I didn't think I had a point. I just thought I was talking.
About...
blah, blah, blah.
Hit it about watching films on TV at a certain point in time. Mm-hmm. So, 70s, 80s, I would say up to mid-90s, you could sit down maybe twice a week, possibly on a Friday night, possibly on a Sunday, maybe something thrown in midweek if they was going to do something else. But there'd be runs of films put on under a banner of something.
Yeah.
So...
Or even if they had a gap.
Yeah.
Darts has finished early.
Yeah.
Put something on.
Yeah, put something on. So we were blessed with all kinds of films coming on. So you're talking... I don't know, late 80s for me, probably picking up on that kind of stuff, wanting to record it, wanting to go back to it.
Also, just to give context to what you're saying, to all the youngsters who may be listening, bear in mind, we didn't have the ability to just sit there scrolling endlessly looking at every film ever made.
No, at this point there's four channels.
We were limited to a certain number of channels.
Yeah.
And because of that, you had this funneled, blinkered view of what you could watch, because if ITV didn't put something on at 11 o'clock, like for October at 11 o'clock at night, there was nothing to watch.
Yeah.
So you'd look to see what are my choices tonight. Oh, you literally got some at 8 o'clock on BBC One, or if you stayed up till 11 and you could last because you're getting up for school in the morning, you could watch something for Red October on Channel 4 or something like that.
Or Four's showing a Hammer film at 11. Or
so there was a joy to the fact that you were limited.
Yeah,
because you would watch stuff you wouldn't have normally tried.
Exactly, and with that happening at that particular time. And then again, we was right place, right time for cable TV to come along. And cable TV took away a little bit of that, because you could sort of like delve into film channels whenever you wanted.
Yeah.
But what it did do, it brought genre film to a particular channel. So you could click on the TCM at 9 o'clock every night and know that you was going to get some kind of thriller, horror, old school noir film.
Yeah.
Without looking, you knew that's what was going to be on TCM at 9 o'clock, then 11 o'clock, and then it would bugger off.
That kind of carried over from what the four channels were doing when we were growing up. Like BBC Two would have a season of sci-fi Tuesdays at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And what was the famous one on, was it ITV, the run of horrors from the late 70s to the 80s? They would put horror films on at a particular time in the week.
Yeah.
So you'd settle down and the Hammer had put.
So they were showing Hammer films and Amicus films and all the good British stuff. Really, they were showing.
There were slots where
there were.
They've
been programmed in. So they do a month of or 6 weeks of a particular thing, and then obviously we had that. We had the cable stuff, and then obviously more channels start to come along, but channels like Bravo. You know what I mean?
You knew what you were getting.
You knew what you was getting there, but you don't get that anymore. So this kind of film, unless you go out,
there's a few.
Recently,
what's your favourite one?
Talking Pictures TV.
Pictures,
Talking Pictures have got into that mould of old school TCM with a bit more thrown in it. And it's good, but if you looked sort of last 10 years, kids or teenagers like we were that were probably looking at film like we were looking at film back in the day, I don't think that's done now.
No.
Because you're never going to find just something on a TV station. Because kids aren't watching TV like that.
Yeah, now, and actually it carries right across all formats of entertainment, because I'm just looking at some messages from a couple of my mates who are chatting at the minute on WhatsApp about the choices you had when you turned up at the cinema. Yeah. When we were younger. Everything's when we were younger, I know, but when you think about what we're doing here with this channel and stuff like that, a lot of it comes from that. A lot of it comes from the fact that whatever entertainment was out there was not always your choice.
No.
And he's just sent a board of like stuff that was on at the same time. In local cinemas, and you'd go in the hope of getting in for ET, but maybe it was full, and so you'd go, what else is there? And that's sort of like me and my wife talk about this with my lad about the fact that with the amount of stuff at his fingertips now, technically he should never be bored.
No, never.
Right? But he's never been bored. He doesn't know how to be. He's never gone on a car journey without his Switch. He's never gone waited for something in the rain in a queue without being entertained by a thing. And it's not something that I think the world needs. But if you have the ability to be able to just sit in silence and be bored, then you appreciate when anything comes along.
Yeah, of course.
So like. Channel 4 putting stuff out at I used to be murdered for like getting up on time for work when I was a sign writer, because Channel 4 would put something obscure on at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it'd be like some weird like art house film, and I don't know what it was or what it was about, but it was there and it was on, And it wasn't me standing in front of all the films I own or a streaming service, having to make that choice myself.
Yeah.
The beauty of broadcast TV and being at the cinema when you just turned up and see what was on was it was in someone else's hands.
Yeah.
And it was them who was saying, "Can't you sleep? Try the music of chance."
Yeah.
Again, I've yet to meet anybody who's seen that film apart from me, but it was in other people's hands, and there's a lovely comfort in that. There's a lovely comfort in knowing that at any time you could put that TV on, someone's curated a thing for you to see, and not giving you 5 million options on Netflix because you're going to spend the first hour trying to decide what.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if me and Janine sit down at night to watch a film or a TV show, it's at least 30 minutes of us backward and forwarding because there's too much. Yeah. There's too much. There's too much to filter through.
Imagine if Netflix put a film on a day.
Yeah.
Or they just had 4 and it would be like, it's for kids.
Yeah.
This is horror. This is a thriller, and this is romance.
That's what TCM was
every day.
Yeah.
And you would suddenly find, I guarantee you would suddenly find you watch more than you would now.
Yep.
Because 80% of the things that I find on streaming are stuff I've seen a million times before.
Yeah.
I cannot count the times I've watched Shooter with Mark Wahlberg because it's there and I know he looks cool. I know he's going to get Ned Beatty in the head at the end.
Yeah.
So there's a comfort in putting it on. But if it was curated for me and they say, no, you're not having that tonight, try something Norwegian. Yeah. Right. And you're going to like it because you're watching this particular channel, but you just haven't seen it yet and you haven't had that thing put in front of you where you need to choose it.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's just there, yeah. It's, in a way, with any of the streaming services, really, it's like being spoon-fed, but then getting nothing off the spoon. Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's all here for you, but there's nothing on it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we spend countless hours just going backwards and forwards, sort of disagreeing what we want to watch, and then we'll both settle on something we've seen a million times before.
Yeah.
Every single time.
If you think about, right, getting back to what GROT is and what it represents, right? If you think about like the viewing experience from when anybody was young and as a kid to what it is now, the major differences are, I mean, I know we've grown up in different eras, but even kids nowadays, they would have things put on TV that their parents would put on for them.
Yeah.
And then they evolve to the point where they say, oh, I like this, let's put this on. And then they evolve to the point where their mates are going to say, I've watched this. That viewing experience is pretty much the same for everyone. But what was nice was the notion that you weren't left to your own devices with every film on earth to just bamboozle you. And I think I liked the experience as a kid where they would put things on and stuff like that, but I think my favourite experience was when the VHS DVD era where you'd got yourself a collection. And this always brings me back to one question that everyone asks is, what's your favourite film? There isn't one. I can guarantee you can say you've got one, but if you're sat there on a Sunday with a full roast dinner in you, right, and someone says, what do you want to put on now with the sunbeam coming at you, you know, well, you're probably going to have a nap.
Yeah.
What do you fancy? Cannibal Holocaust. It might be your favourite film, but you might not want to see it at that time.
Yeah.
And the beauty of a library of films, whether that be on at the cinema and someone's curated them, or whether it be on Movie Drome on BBC Two, or whether it be on your shelf, or whether it be on Netflix. The beauty of having a library that you're kind of familiar with is, I'm in the mood for that. I'm in the mood for Die Hard today. Yeah. No, actually, I'm in the mood for like a horror, or I'm in the mood for like a subtle thriller, or whatever it is. You can pick and choose based on roughly what you know about films. And what I think we're in at the moment is a situation where it's getting rarer and rarer that you'll stumble across the stuff that you feel like you've discovered.
Yeah, very rare.
And that's, I think, what GROT celebrates. It's what we're looking to celebrate is stumbling across The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah.
Stumbling across Swingers is a great one for me.
Because
I didn't know anyone who'd seen it, but I saw an ad for it in Radio Times or something. And when I first put it on and watched it, I didn't know it was a comedy. and I thought it's just a drama.
Yeah.
And then it made me laugh, and I realised I'm watching a comedy, and I felt like I found it. I felt like I'd discovered it. So the next minute I'm telling all my friends to go and watch it and stuff like that. Bottle Rocket was another one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know what the hell I was watching, but I laughed my head off as I'm going through it. All those little gems that you find, and you feel like you've connected to them, and it's yours.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a copy. I'll lend you this when you've got a minute. You know, I'm forcing ping pong on
Ping
you
pong
at the minute.
at the moment. Yeah.
All of those little things that matter to someone, and because it matters to someone because they're connected to it, it's got a little bit more weight to it. Like I would happily have somebody turn up on this channel and say, listening to the crap you've watched, have a try of this.
Yeah.
And stumbling across something that way, it becomes a more precious thing, I think.
Yeah, it does. It becomes more interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and I think that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of these sort of boutique release companies now are sort of hitting a mark, because they are releasing stuff that, me and you have probably heard of, and a lot of people that watch this video have probably heard of. But there's a younger generation that's getting into physical media.
Yeah. And the company they've bought stuff off in the past has gone, oh, about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Pumpkinhead 2? And they go, well, yeah, I've never heard of it. So for a younger generation, I think a lot of these boutique companies do help. Some of the streaming services do help. You know what I mean? The likes of Tubi, there's some great stuff to be seen on Tubi. Or the other one as well that no one seems to really know about Barrows at the moment, but Eternal Family.
Oh yeah,
streaming service.
Up on
fantastic stuff that they've got on there.
Facebook, they're meant.
Yeah. The worth having a look at, to find some of this kind of stuff, to find some of this nitty gritty stuff that we're into, and again, you know what I mean, people probably come to this channel and take something away from it. I'm quite aware that it's not all going to be horror. You know what I mean? We're going to get sci-fi. We're going to get. I'm definitely going to do a section on fantasy and sword and sandals kind of films.
Oh, and you're going to get
you know what I mean?
A whole bucket of crap off me when it comes to having robots in
yeah,
stuff, you know.
You know what I mean? And I think that's another good thing about doing a fanzine style show like this, online magazine, call it what you want. It's bring so many different people to what we're doing, who bring their point of view across and what they like over.
Yeah.
It might not be what I like, but if someone's coming into this channel, it might be what they like.
Hey, this is the thing, you see. You talk to someone in the pub, or if pubs exist anymore, I don't know. you chat with someone, and I always find the best questions to hit people, strangers, with is like, what are you into? You know, it doesn't matter whether it's like boating or they watch football or they're into cinema or whatever. If you can get someone started on something they're interested in, it's always interesting.
Yeah, of course it is.
Because if they're interested in it, that'll come across.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to have this type of thing do that. As in, like, we've always said it when we were doing the film club and stuff, which is like, Movie Drone did it for a lot of us of our age, where Alex Cox would rock up and say, have you ever heard of this film? Bang, pop it on for you. And that's a curated view. That's somebody turning up and saying, we think there will be people out there that like this, right? And that's what I'm looking to find. It's fascinating looking through what some of the other people have written for the fanzine.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for me to get a new interest out of it. You know, but maybe suddenly at this age, I'll suddenly get into Italian headless westerns or whatever the flipping heck comes out of it. But if somebody can convince me of it, I'm willing to give that a bash.
Yeah, and I think, like I say, everything that's been submitted up to now for the fanzine,
has been interesting.
Is interesting and been completely different.
Because you never actually said, can you write something about?
Nope, I just left it as an open door policy and write about whatever you want to write.
Didn't someone as well say, which I think is a fascinating idea, we were talking about this the other day, somebody just saying, can I write a thing?
Yeah, somebody, just
like
a short story
or whatever, you know.
Someone asked, could they submit that? That's, if you want.
Brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, because that could take, somebody's mind. Well, in any direction. I love the idea of someone finding this little fanzine on a bus.
Yeah.
And they're just going home from work and they're tired, and they've had enough of working in the warehouse or whatever, and they find something called GROT on the seat next to them, right? Because as much as I couldn't tell you any specifics, we've come across zines a lot as youngsters,
Yeah.
at gigs and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The zine, if people don't really know what it is, it's basically
You're not a dinosaur.
yeah, if it's basically somebody who feels the overpowering need to write about something or sketch something down or put something together on a piece of paper, photocopy it 20 times, and just chuck them around town. So that somebody finds something about the thing they're passionate about, whether it's that cinema, whether it's sport,
music,
whatever, right? And
it's
happened a lot.
It's a fan-made magazine.
Yeah, in the days before, let's send out an email newsletter and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
or it was seeing the music thing. It was the fanzines were an offset to sort of NME, or because that was very mainstream and a lot of genre-heavy music, especially the punk scene, where they wanted to get a particular sort of point across.
Yeah.
And if you lived in a certain area, you might not be able to get, you'll have known of a certain zine, but you want to be able to get that zine because you wasn't on that scene.
To be honest,
so
it takes...
there was millions of them in the UK, zines at the time.
It does take a certain amount of like elements for you to be able to get hold of these type of things. Like I say, I'd love for people to find it on a bus, but the chances are the people who catch buses are not
reading GROT.
It's the old ones coming home from Morrison's, or they've met their mates in Tesco's cafe for the day, and they'll pick someone up and say, films about death by bumming. I'm not sure if that's for us, Margaret. Right, but a scene needs to be... zines reflect what's going on, I think.
Yeah.
And like, you know, for example, you'd have your punk scene stuff that would have been big in towns that had a punk scene. We always mention music on this type of stuff because Wigan for the longest time had a fantastic music scene.
Yeah.
And so you would have zines hanging about in record stores, in places where people were doing gigs. They'd leave them by the door so you could pick one up on the way out, and you say, oh, what's this rubbish, this photocopied rubbish? Maybe it's got something in it that introduced you to a new band. Or to a new type of music, or to stuff that was just going on, gigs and stuff like that. Cinema, probably we didn't really have that much going on here because there was never necessarily a cinema scene where people were curating cinema and putting stuff on.
I never recall
we basically got whatever the studios were putting out.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't have somebody sitting there writing about why they thought Tron was brilliant. Danny,
yeah.
Right, so why was Tron brilliant and stuff like that? Because there wasn't an underground cinema scene. You might have got it more in London with the Prince Charles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you definitely would have had them more in places like LA, where the cinemas are used not just for what's coming out now. It's like, oh, well, we're going to put Beverly Hills Cop on because the fellow who did the music for it's going to come in and so they're a reflection of a scene, really. And it's interesting you've picked up on it being a thing now, because there are scenes that are up and coming. The collection of physical media is a big one. Loads of people starting their own cinema clubs.
Yeah, massively. Film clubs. Yeah,
you know, they've got Cultplex in Manchester. We've got Lee Film Society doing stuff up there. We're doing our bit whenever we can, you know, in Wigan.
Yeah, you've got
two, three little grotty towns, and there's way more than them.
Yeah, you've got big ones in Nottingham. You've got big ones. Edinburgh has a big one.
Carlisle's
got a massive club. He does really well with that one.
But it all comes down to the fact that these people who are sitting in their everyday lives have decided, you know, I'd like to share what I love about this stuff, whether it's music, film, or whatever. And the fact that it's visible now, you know, Cultplex are doing great.
Yeah, it's fantastic venue.
Lee Cinemas are doing great.
Yeah,
you know,
another great venue.
And we'd like that to happen more, for someone else to come along and go, you know what, I've got a garage and I'm going to put something on in my garage.
Yeah,
we're going to start with Legend of Boggy Creek. Right, so it's all it is about sharing what we were into, and hopefully someone else going, you know, I'll give that a bash as well. Yeah,
it's sharing what we're into, allowing other people to share what they're into. That was the whole thing as well. Like I said before, it was an open door policy.
Yeah, if
anybody wanted to write for the zine, they can write for the zine.
Right. There's something to be said for inviting people to come along and have an open door policy and saying, come along, write whatever you want, write what you're passionate about, unless it's weird.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, well, I've got this love story with a manga cat man and a doctor who's an octopus.
Yeah. Then
right?
no, you are not getting in the zine.
There's got to be some element of editing going on, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough. You know, you want to write about your favourite films, and you want to write about what it gets you going. But I ran my table at a Comic Con for 10 years, and I can tell you there are people out there you don't need to know what they're thinking. you really don't. Oh, I've been drawing for a few years. Oh, have you? That's lovely. I'm just selling something at the minute, but I'll get back to you. Can I show you what I've been drawing? You can, but I can pretty much guess what it's going to be. It's going to be a manga cat man, isn't it? Kissing another manga cat man. And you're like, fine, that's fine, you know, I get it, but I'm not sure. We've got to be have a little bit of an editing edge to be able to say, when we're talking about stuff that you're passionate about,
Yeah.
don't limit it to the one little dark
To the
corner
manga
of your mind.
To the manga cat man.
To the manga cat man who kisses other manga cat men and then like has Christmas powers or something fucking mad.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, to be fair up to now, I mean, everybody that's submitted, like I said before, everyone submitted something different, but not just in the style of writing or what, just the actual content of the article. Everyone has just gone in completely different direction. Now, I thought we'd have got more that was like going to be closer. No. We've got articles written about Italian giallo.
Yeah.
We've got articles written about old school video shops.
Yeah.
We've got we've got some stuff that's not even an article. We've got a resident agony aunt.
Oh yeah.
So someone started an agony aunt column, which is fucking genius.
Dr. Caligari.
Dr. Caligari.
Yeah.
What would Dr. Caligari do?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I suppose the open door policy stands. If somebody really wants to write a story from the point of view of a shoe, go for it, right? But I suppose the thing to keep in mind is if we are editing this stuff, it's got to make us go, oh, have you read this?
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Right. And I love stumbling across people who tell you what they're into and what they do, and you're going, I never would have thought that.
Yeah.
But how fascinating is that?
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of stuff that you want to like stumble across, find on the bus. By the time you've got home, you go, I might want to try windsurfing now, you know, or something like that. And as long as it's kind of linked to a bit of the nonsense we've rambled about for the past 42 minutes.
Yeah. Then we're okay. But again, everyone that I reached out to,
they've all jumped on it.
Everyone's just jumped all over it, which blew me away really, because I was thinking, well, I might get a couple.
You know why they've all jumped on it? Because you didn't say what you asked for. You just said, I'm going to write this thing, it's called GROT, and they've all gone, I know what that means to me. And they've all like written totally different things, but it's cool. And we want to see more of it. It's looking very likely that there'll be enough stuff submitted to this that it won't fit in the first one.
Nope.
You know,
I will be stacking articles. So some of the articles that have been submitted that won't get to this one, they'll just end up in the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if people want to submit something, don't be disheartened if you don't get it in the particular issue that comes out. It'll always go in another issue. It's if we can get enough stuff submitted constantly, then there'll always be an issue. You know what I mean? There'll always be a new issue available. So again, it's going to be quarterly. So there's only 4 in a year.
Yeah. Also, maybe there's like I don't know whether you thought of it, but maybe there's something about having a regular presence somewhere. If we're doing stuff on a channel here, then the comment section's always open.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got an actual email address where people can chat to each other there.
Yeah, well, the email, I'll put it down below, the email.
Whatever youngsters do now, you know, put it on a page somewhere where people can have a Discord or something like that.
Yeah.
The zine itself is a jumping off point, a quarterly jumping off point for people to talk about this biz. And part of the reason, I can't speak for him, but part of the reason I'm interested in this is that thing of like, you're at a dinner party and you're trying to be nice with everyone. You go, all right, what do you do? Oh, I do accounts and everything. Oh, do you? That's nice and everything. And what are you into? Like, you know, what are you into? Oh, I like painting horses without heads. Like planning about a nuclear apocalypse. Oh, do you? Flipping heck. right?
So do I.
Man's that. But I mean, stumbling across someone who's into a thing that you've never even thought of is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what GROT kind of is, I suppose.
Yeah, to open it up as a YouTube channel and a podcast, as well as the zine, it allowed more people to get involved, because not everybody wants to sit here like me and you talking to a camera.
Yeah.
People don't feel confident enough to doing it.
Yeah.
But I wanted people to get involved in some way. So a physical zine, if someone could write an article for a physical zine, then if that's their platform, that's their platform.
I kind of like the idea that you could do it anonymously.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell us who you are.
No, not at all.
Just send something in and say, yes, I do like this particular genre of things. I'm going to tell you why. Cool, makes for a good read.
Yeah.
We just talked about this before doing this, but do you remember the site Ain't It Cool News? We were saying how Harry Knowles was the guy. I've done that to indicate it. Harry Knowles was the guy under whose banner all these other writers came in and did stuff.
Yep.
And they'd write an article about their favourite Jello film, or they'd write an article about their favourite thriller, or whatever it was. And I liked the fact that it was a banner under which loads of people contributed.
Yeah.
And you would get a review of. I always remember some guy reviewing. He was the first person to see Titanic because it was a screener somewhere, and there'd be a test audience, and they'd put him in this, and his article partially made it a massive hit.
Right.
Because the way this guy, who was not interested in the Titanic at all, wrote about what a good film this fella had made, that got spread out all over the place. And I suppose Harry Knowles used to take credit.
Yeah.
There he is again. How he used to take credit for what these people were sending in. But at the same time, that's what he stood for. And I always admire him for doing that. Maybe whatever he became in the end, doing whatever he's doing now, fine. But I always admire the fact that he let people speak through his platform.
Yeah, he did.
And therefore introduced a multitude of people to a multitude of things. Me and Rob were just talking the other day about the film Once.
Yeah.
About a Dublin busker, and how the reviews on Ain't It Cool News basically said you can't see the film yet, but you can buy the soundtrack, and if you do, I guarantee you'll love everything about it by the time you see the film. And they were right. And they put me onto so much stuff. Ain't It Cool News? Oh, you've never heard of this before? Go and see this, horror or whatever. This is going to take off. And GROT is not just for what did you love when you were a kid.
No.
It's also about I've just seen this and it's freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Try this, biz. We would hope for it to do or to emulate in some way what he was doing with that site, which was we had this banner idea of this guy saying, come along everyone, come along and sit in this little banner thing with us and tell us what you're into, tell us what you're going, what you're looking forward to, because I remember reading about The Host through the
the Korean film,
creature feature, and God, I was excited about that film for 6 months.
I
loved it when it came
out. It's grateful.
But I had these people talking about it because they were excited for it coming out as well, and that was contagious. A creature film that didn't look like anything else. It started in broad daylight where it attacked people, and you saw it straight away, and you're like, well, where's the thrill of finding out about
what
it
is?
The film was about something else. But I loved finding it in that place, and for Ain't It Cool to be, it was my daily go-to.
Yeah.
Because it was what I was interested in, cinema, and it was people just writing stuff about stuff that I wouldn't have even thought of watching. I would never have heard of or seen the Host, and until they talked about it, and that would be nice for us to provide that kind of platform.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I like the also the idea of the local indies, well, even local, but national indie scene that there is at the moment cropping up in this as well. Because I don't think the indie scene gets enough love through, but definitely not national press. So to bring some of the indie filmmakers in on this as well, because obviously Gene Doldo, who did the Blade Cuts Deeper, Gene's writing an article, and he reached out
in that scene.
And he reached out to some other directors and producers in Oz, and they were quite keen to do something with GROT as well. So to bring them guys into the fold as well as would be really good, because it's not something I really know about.
I know, but every cinema scene started with somebody working indies.
Indies, yeah, yeah.
You know, at some point Spielberg was making stuff for himself.
Yeah.
And you know, there was that big run a few years back of like your Gareth Edwards and your the fellow who did Last Jedi, whatever. They'd all made their indie films.
Yeah.
The guy who did Looper, sorry, Ryan Johnson stuff. They'd all made their indie films, and they'd made their name by making the thing they wanted to make. And it took them into Hollywood straight away.
Yeah.
Whether Hollywood uses them right or not, I always remember Peter Jackson giving some help to Neil Blomkamp to do District 9.
All right.
Because he basically said, make this film now.
Yeah.
Because the studios will never let you make it. So you make it yourself. That'll get your name everywhere.
Yeah.
And his name is still being bandied about today because of that film.
Yeah.
Your name will carry weight then. You know, make the film you want to make yourself. And Peter Jackson's another good example, doing Brain Dead and all that kind of stuff. Bad Taste. And that leads him to the bloody Lord of the Rings. So indies feed the bigger system anyway. So it's always fun to find out about what's going on in the indie stuff. That's usually where the ideas are as well, the fun ideas.
Yeah, of course it is.
Going
it's where
to what we talked about
because they're not
the video shop.
Not frightened about doing something.
Yeah. There's loads of like indie stuff, and you see it and you think, what was that one called? Safety Not Guaranteed. And the guy who made it, I think it's Colin Trevorrow. I think he went immediately from a film that was based on an article that was put in a magazine about a guy who said he was going back in time.
Right.
It's just this fellow with a mullet, and I think it was a joke, to be honest, but it's a fellow with a mullet just saying, I need someone to go back in time with me, you know, need to be weapons, like, able to handle yourself and all that stuff. Safety's not guaranteed, soz. And that was his ad in this advert, and Trevorrow took that and made a film about that. I think Aubrey Plaza was in it, and the fellow who was in Creep, the one with the wolf mask.
Oh, right,
Mark Duplass.
I don't know this film.
We've not seen that one.
No.
It's all right, actually, but it's the perfect example of the stuff that would go, that studios would put straight out in the 80s and put it in the video shop, and people would go, well, it's about somebody who says he can time travel, but it's about journalists meeting him and talking to him about his article, and then it does what indie films do, where you make your own mind up whether he does it or not.
Yeah.
But all of those guys making those films had a massive leap straight into, because I think it went from that to Jurassic Park 5 or whatever it was.
Right.
There was a massive load of them at one point where Hollywood were going, he's made that, let's get him in. That fellow who made Monsters, give him Godzilla. Yeah. You know, there was just this huge leap because the indie scene was producing far more interesting stuff than somebody making Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd seen Jurassic Park before.
Yeah.
And it was the indie scene, I think, is a good reflection of what the video scene was doing back then.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of like half the stuff that went straight to video, but
there was tons of it.
We were like, well, I'll watch Millennium.
I watched Rotor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But we never saw a cinema release for that stuff. It was the equivalent of what the indie scene is now.
Yeah.
You know, people just making short stuff and go.
So I mean, GROT will sort of.
GROT will be here. We'll be doing this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if.
But it was just
anybody who fancies getting involved.
And that was one of the main drives of it as well. It is much more fun doing it with other people.
Exactly that.
I YouTubed on my own for like 5 years, and as fun as it is making content on your own, it's way more fun doing it with other people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes things easier. It makes things, you know what I mean? It's just a lot better just getting people involved because it's fun, and people are putting ideas backward and forward. You know what I mean? It's just socially, it's nice. It brings a good group of people together.
It's essentially what you were doing with the Cult Film Club.
It's what I do with the film club, yeah.
But I think GROT's sort of like focused it that bit more into the thing that fires you up the most, the thing that fires us both up the most, I suppose. And the hope is that it creates this little room where others can come in and say, listen, I'm dying to write something about Mac and me, right?
Yeah.
You know, and if that's what they really want to do, can get it done.
Yeah.
And we'll give you 100% support and stick it in a fanzine, get it out to people, have it on here as a video. If you want to make a video for this channel, then just give us a shout and say I'm just well into them Dungeons and Dragons films with Jeremy Isaac. No, not or whatever. It's not Jeremy Isaac.
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons. Yeah. Oh, I'm so into them films because the main lad in it's dead handsome.
Yeah.
We're not going to listen to you. We're not going to put that stuff out at all. But yeah, if you really want to talk about...
That was my next article.
If you really want to talk about Beverly Hills Cop 3, where Axel Foley, in the middle of a gunfight, pushes a chair into the middle of the room, and they spend 5 minutes shooting it, thinking it's him. I'd write an article about that. Fucking hell. I'd do you an animation about that.
But again, if you want to write an article for the fanzine, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
If you want to make, because we've got other people that are going to be making content for this YouTube channel.
Yes.
So there's people out there that are going to be putting stuff together, and again, it's not going to be down to me. I'll sort of moderate it, but they'll be uploading stuff of their own straight to the channel. So instead of having to do everything from thumbnails to editing to whatever, if people just want to do something like that and then submit it up to the guys that have currently got access to the channel, they can just upload their own stuff. So it keeps the content flowing, but the content of the channel will also reflect what's going to be in the magazine. But if you're one of those kind of people that doesn't like to be on camera, or your writing's not too good, because my writing's not brilliant.
You could put 2 dots on your hand and just do a video like that. I saw this one with the zombies in it.
But there's an audio podcast form as well. So if you want to do it sort of just straight audio with a decent mic set up and talk about something like that, you're more than welcome
also,
to.
if you write something and you submit it and you're thinking of it as an article or something like that, maybe we'll pick up on that and go, this girl was talking about something that we're really now interested in. Let's make a video of that. You might want to be involved in that, and if you don't, then we can just talk about it on your behalf even. I think the getting to the crux of it is like, what's the stuff that interests you, that you're really interested in? You either love it, it frightens you, or whatever it is, whatever you want to talk about that is generally film based, isn't it?
Yes,
that's what we're talking about. It's
film
all
based.
film based. Because we could spin off into comics and you know, nightclubbing and whatever else anyone does these days, merbs. But films is the thing. So whatever fires you up, whatever floats your boat, whatever you're interested in, have always been interested in, have just discovered, looking forward to, hated, whatever. Well, maybe not hated. Rob doesn't like that. We don't want to do.
We can't be negative.
Stuff.
We can't.
Rob
says
stuff.
We can't be negative. So
he's got a point.
He has got a point.
I think if you sit there and rip stuff to bits, it's not exactly the funnest experience. So I won't be talking about Alien Earth. But if I'm forced to, I'll try and be nice. But the stuff that fires you up, the stuff you're interested in, the stuff you're looking forward to, if you want to share it with like-minded idiots, and then we'll share it out with other like-minded idiots, then you're very welcome to do it here.
You certainly are. And until the next episode of GROT
on!